Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's me. It's me. It's the G.O.C. coming to you live to tape, 25 feet below the surface of the earth. Wait a minute. You guys get that I am live, but I am taping this. The heck with it. Let's move on. Welcome to Chaos Corner for another special edition here on October 20th, today in pro wrestling history. I have a lot of news and notes. We're going to jump all over the place with different dates and different significant things that happened on this day in pro wrestling history. Follow me on all social media platforms, especially here on the mothership, Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, get us in the algorithm. We don't want any copyrights, that's for damn sure. Follow me on X, aka Twitter, at Big Daddy G.O.C. And the G.O.C. stands for the Guardian of Chaos. That's in real time. Follow me on Instagram, the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, there's 2 accounts. That's right, there is 2. J Brony and Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Follow me on Gitter, Gab, Truth Social, Rumble, which I will be bringing a live show to Rumble where there's perhaps no one from the IWC representing over there on Rumble, so stay tuned for that. Fans, thanks for being here from the bottom of my heart. Big recognition and shout out to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because he's coming back soon, don't be caught dead without him, and that's a shoot. Don't be distracted by the sounds of nature and all the birds and tropical thunderstorms. My wife said it's a distraction to the show here at Chaos Corner. You tell me what you think. It's raining cats and dogs here in the greater tri-state Northeast New England area in the shadows of Titan Towers. You wonder how the cats and dogs get along during the rain. That's something I've been pondering. Anyway, I hope I can provide you a little relief, a little stress relief from the chaos, no pun intended, going on in today's world. Wars, rumors of wars, everything else that's going on in the Middle East and here in our own country. It's despicable. It's disgraceful. Let's pray for humanity because we know in the end who wins. Have faith in that. Strength, stamina, wisdom, courage. Stay close to your family and friends and your loved ones. Tomorrow is not guaranteed for any of us. So now that I put that message out there, that PSA, which means a lot to me, again, I'll say thank you for being here. Here we go, fans. Let's jump right into it. Hold on. Let me have a little more coffee. Grab a tea, grab a snack, grab a beverage. It's early here on Friday, October 20th, heading into the weekend. Don't let the sounds of Chaos Corner distract you. Pay attention. School is in session. And I want to give a big shout out to all my sources. You know that I have more sources. I have so many sources that I have to outsource my sources. I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Stand by. I need a little boost. All right, fans. Let's get right into it. Should I lower the sounds here with Alexa? Alexa, lower the volume. Is that a little better? Are you listening, wife? Because I know that you are. And you know what? For the rest of you out there that have something to say, I know that you're watching. And you know that I know that you're watching. So let that sink in. Let that marinate.
New Tidy Care Alert cat litter from Tidy Cats has
Tidy Cats cat litter? They're not our sponsor here. Only Sweet Heel CBD is our sponsor. Alexa, play tropical thunderstorm sounds. Let's see what she has to say to that. I apologize here for the interruption for our vast sound system. You know me, one man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog here on Chaos Corner. All right, fans, here we go. October 20th, 1964. Mad Dog Vachon defeats Vern Gagne to win the AWA World Heavyweight Championship in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, bear with me, fans. We have a lot of notes today. October 20th, 1972. The 39th anniversary of EMLL Lucha Libre. Alphonse Dantes defeats El Solitario to retain the NWA World Light Heavyweight Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls bout. Again, I love it back in the day, in the era of heavyweight champions, light heavies, welterweights, middleweights. It just all made things much simpler, and you can differentiate instead of having some 170-pounder against a 280-pound behemoth and try to make the fans believe that the 170 belongs in the heavyweight division. It's just insane what's going on here in 2023 in the pro wrestling industry. Don't get me wrong, I love it, I enjoy it, I watch it, I follow it, I cover it here on the channel. But it certainly is not your daddy's wrestling, not your grandpappy's wrestling, and of course, certainly not my pro wrestling. We stay in EMLL, October 20th, 1972, the 39th anniversary show, as I said. Karloff Lagarde defeats Hurricane Ramirez to retain the NWA World Welterweight title. October 20th, 1986. Crusher Yurkov defeats Steve Simpson to win the WCWA TV title. October 20th, 1989. On this show for All Japan Pro Wrestling, 3 title changes in the same night. Konnichiwa, bitches. Masanobu Fuji defeats Joe Malenko for the All Japan Pro Wrestling World Junior Heavyweight title. Again, weight classes. Bring it back in 2023, would you please? Stan Hansen and Tenryu defeat Jumbo Tsuruta and Yoshiaki Yatsu for the All Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag Team titles. Jumbo Tsuruta and Yoshiaki Yatsu defeat Fuyaki and Kawada. Oh, wait a minute, wait! I told you I have so many sources and notes that we're bouncing all over the place. Let's get this straight. Hansen and Tenryu defeated Tsuruta and Yatsu for the All Japan Pro Wrestling titles on October 20th, 1989. Here's the other result, and this was for the All Japan Pro Wrestling All Asia Tag Team titles as Fuyaki and Kawada defeat Doug Furnace and Dan Crofat. Now that was a hell of a tag team back in the day. All 3 of those titles on the same night for All Japan back in 1989, October 20th. October 20th, 1997, the Monday Night Wars between WCW Nitro and Monday Night Raw is War. We talk about ratings all the time, but here we are, October 20th, 1997. Nitro on that night, 4.6. That's more than all the weekly wrestling shows here in 2023 combined. And it wasn't by the WWF. It was WCW Nitro with a 4.6 on October 20th, 1997. And they crushed Raw is War, which came in at 2.9, which is way above any show currently in 2023. So put that together, and that's a 7.5 rating for the 2 shows combined. That would be almost 2-3 weeks of all the shows between AEW and WWE here in 2023. And that's the part of when Eric Bischoff came up with 83 weeks where WCW kicked the WWE's ass before WWE bounced back, as they always do, like they are now in 2023, to dominate. They've been around for a long time. They are the mothership in the world of pro wrestling, no matter what anybody says. And again, I'm bouncing around here, fans, so let's hope I keep all the news and notes together here on this date in pro wrestling history. A little bit of a throwback here. October 20th, 1989. Kerry Von Erich defeats The Punisher, a.k.a. Mean Mark Callis, a.k.a. The Undertaker, for the USWA Texas Heavyweight title. Let that sink in. Let's see what else we can bounce around here to get for this day in pro wrestling history. First off, today's birthdays, October 20th. Today's birthdays, Humberto Carrillo on this date in 1995. Chavo Guerrero Jr. on this date in 1970. Tiger Mask 5, I believe, in 1970. And Scott Hall, rest in peace, his birthday today, 1958. So those are the birthday wishes and greetings and salutations for all those past and present and those that have passed away. Passings on this day of October 20th. The late, great, former friend of mine as well, Ox Baker, passed on this date in 2014. And also passing on this date, October 20th in 2017, Stan Kowalski. October 20th, 1990, Mean Mark Callis, a.k.a. The Undertaker, who seems to be in a lot of the news today on this day in history, makes his debut in WCW as Mean Mark Callis. October 20th, 1992, Greensboro, North Carolina. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and we certainly are going through hard times, and Manny Fernandez defeat Ivan Koloff and Don Cornudle for the NWA World Tag Team titles. Again, we're bouncing around on this date in history. October 20th, 1972. The third... wait, we already went through that. Now, this is where I'm getting... I'm as confused as a baby at Hooters right now. Now, I'm not sure if it was yesterday, October 19th, or today, October 20th. I believe it was yesterday, and I missed it on yesterday's Today in Pro Wrestling History. 2011, Road Warrior Hawk passes away from the late, great tag team, the best ever, in my opinion, the Road Warriors. Rest in peace, Hawk. And, of course, rest in peace, Joe Laurinaitis. Road Warrior Animal. But again, of this 2011, Road Warrior Hawk passes away. Let's make sure that I get the dates. And as Bully Ray has said to me back in 06, 07, and I say this story all the time if you know me and you follow here on the channel, when we were going for the NWA World Tag Team titles against the Dudley Boys, myself and the Outcast Killers in a series of tables matches. Bully said to me back in the locker room, after I got my ass kicked in those matches, as the most notorious manager in the pro wrestling scene, no doubt about it, in the independent pro wrestling scene. He said, give the Guardian of Chaos, back then, as Big Daddy, 5 spots and he'll fuck up 4. I consider that to be a compliment from a 2-time Hall of Famer, perhaps one of the greatest tag teams of all time, current radio host of Busted Open Radio, and still active in today's business, Bully Ray. Yes, and I took the what's up. This is what you get here on this channel. I already told you that. So I don't want to mess up and screw up any of these dates. Let's go back in the time machine here on October 20th, this date in pro wrestling history. October 20th, 1996, from Indianapolis, Indiana. The WWF In Your House debuts in the main event, the very first Buried Alive match. That's right, Buried Alive. 1996, WWF In Your House. The Undertaker faces Mankind, as I said, in the first ever Buried Alive match. Now, The Undertaker won the match, but the debuting Executioner... Think about it for a second. Wait for it. The debuting Executioner attacks The Undertaker and replaces Mankind, a.k.a. Mick Foley, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, whatever you want to call him. And he puts Undertaker in the grave, a.k.a. the Dead Man. Now think about who the Executioner was. Think about it. I'll give you a little hint. Part of an infamous 6-man tag team. Perhaps one of the greatest tag teams of all time as well. made an impact in this business and drew more money than you could imagine when they were just teenagers and went on to be legends. And this man was a legit badass. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Hello, McFly, are you home? Bad Street, Atlanta, G8. Bad Street in the whole USA. Bad Street, nasty and hot. The further down the block, the worse it got. That's right. Bam Bam Terry Gordy was the executioner. He had his hard times. He went through his trials and tribulations. Terry Gordy was a legit badass and a true legend. And in 1996, in the Buried Alive debut, it was Terry Gordy as the executioner, returning towards the near end of his career. Wasn't much further after that. And the pay-per-view ended with the iconic image of the Taker's purple glove bursting through the dirt. Speaking of that, the span and the cup, if you know what I'm talking about. Do your research. It's biblical. October 20th, 2000. WCW released Bret Hart a mere three years after signing with the company. Hart was suffering from, as we all know, it's legendary now, from post-concussion syndrome as a result of an injury caused by Goldberg. That's a legendary story now. Bret has told it many times himself. It's well documented. Hart announces his retirement soon after that. But he was released, as we're talking about here, the way WCW did things back then, when it was ready to be bought out, and they were going through many, many troubles. Not only from after they was, went from the NWA to Jim Crockett Promotions and then WCW. They notified Bret Hart via whatever you want to say, by FedEx, informing him of his release. By FedEx. No face-to-face, no phone calls, but that's what this current generation does in the last 20 years. All you geeks and goons and dweeps and virgins and neckbeards. No offense, man. It's a word. Kayfabe, but I'm telling it like it is because everybody's soft. That's just my opinion. They also released WCW back in that era via FedEx. They did the same thing to stunning Steve Austin, a.k.a. Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the legendary Dragon, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. How the fuck do you do these things? Is that how you conduct business? That's why they are no longer here, and persona non grata, as I always say. Let that sink in. 23 years ago, and we all know what happened with Bret Hart and Goldberg. October 20th. 2002, or as I like to say, 2002. From Little Rock, Arkansas, it's the No Mercy pay-per-view. Let me give you a couple quick results and big bouts from that night, October 20th, 2002. Brock Lesnar retains the WWE Championship. Now pay attention. Retains the WWE Championship by defeating The Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell match. Like I said, today on October 20th in history, Undertaker, Mean Mark Callis, whatever you want to call him, the Punisher, he was all over on this date in pro wrestling history. Also on that same card, the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H defeats Kane, who was the current Intercontinental Champion at that time, in a champion versus champion matchup. So Triple H won the IC title along with the World Heavyweight title. Now hold on for a second, because I'll get back to the heavyweight titles. And the IC Championship, if I'm remembering, was retired after 33 years of existence. And we know Pat Patterson allegedly beat Ted DiBiase in Rio de Janeiro for the original IC Championship, which was a big work and one of the longest works in history if you go back and check out my previous This Date in Pro Wrestling History shows. So let that sink in. Only for them to bring back the IC Championship the very next year in 2003. But here's to my point. For these last 20 years or so, of having 2, 3 world champions. The SmackDown champion, the Raw champion, and now the World Heavyweight champion, the Universal champion. What a bunch of bullshit, and what they have ruined in this business when it comes to the world titles. It really is sickening and disgusting, and poor creative and poor writing and poor storytelling. And when you bring in people from Hollywood or TV shows that think they're creative writers and they weren't in the pro wrestling industry, this is what happens. Multiple world heavyweight champions in one company. It makes it bogus. It makes it not believable. It makes it, who's the real world champion? Whatever happened to having one world champion in the company, and then you have your undercard belts, whether it be the United States title, the TV title, an intercontinental title. I understand all that. Now you have multiple 2 tag team champions in WWE, women's tag team champions, trios champions, which is really a 6-man tag team belt. That's why this business is garbage today as far as that creative and that storytelling. You don't know who's champion. Who cares who's champion when you have 2 and 3 world champions and you have 15 different title belts all throughout the companies? I mean, that's my opinion. That's not an old school opinion. That's facts. That's truth. How can you determine anything and who's really the best? Take this serious. It's a bunch of garbage. It's a bunch of bunk. And it's not recognized. And that's why the world heavyweight titles mean nothing in today's business. Not a fucking thing. And I apologize for cussing. I know I've been doing it a lot lately. I apologize for it. I don't have to do that. But it's just not traditional. It's just not honorable. It's just not respectful. It doesn't work and it doesn't fly. And especially here on Chaos Corner. So that was my point about these World Heavyweight Championships and how I've been talking the last couple of days about junior heavyweight champions, middleweight champions. It's all bullshit. And that you should go back to the era of when wrestling was pro wrestling. You have one world champion, one world tag team champions, and then if you want to run in, like I said, you want to have your Intercontinental belt, you want to have your U.S. title, you want to have your TV title. Throw in your women's championship. I don't know if you want to have a women's tag team championship. Women's wrestling is exploding here in 2022, 2023, going into 2024. At the most, in any one company, at the very most, there should be between the men's and women's division and tag team divisions and singles divisions, 6 titles. And if you want to throw in a world 6-man tag team championship, I get it. That's tradition. That's history. 7. World heavyweight champion. Maybe even a junior heavyweight champion. A U.S. champion. Intercontinental champion. A TV champion. Tag team champion. 6-man tag teams. Isn't that fucking enough? What are we doing here? That's a lot in itself. Again, it sticks in my craw. It really does. And it's truly unfortunate. And that's my rant when it comes to these world titles. It just doesn't mean anything anymore. It just doesn't. And then you have all these different tournaments and tournament titles and tournament trophies. All bullshit. Remember, I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. And if you don't like it, I say it every show, change the channel. I'm not going to block you. I mean, leave a comment. I mean, you can say whatever you want. Although all our rights are being taken away in this country, and we don't know what's coming. World War III, I don't want to get onto that because I'm here for positivity. But I just wanted to give you my take on that. Also on that same event on October 20th, 2002, with Brock Lesnar and the Undertaker defeating the Undertaker in Hell in a Cell. Triple H, champion versus champion against Kane, where they retired the IC belt after 33 years and then just brought it back the next year. Also on that same event, October 20th, 2002, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit defeat Edge and Rey Mysterio in a tournament final to decide the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions, to my fucking point of what I just talked about for the last 10 minutes. What an odd pairing of Angle and Benoit and Edge and Rey Mysterio. who now is Adam Copeland in AEW. You know, I get it. Keep wrestling at your age. It's all about the money. October 20th, 2003, WWE Monday Night Raw. Shawn Michaels faces Goldberg for his World Heavyweight Championship. To my point, are you paying attention here? I hope that you are and you're taking notes. The match was interrupted by the returning Batista, who attacked Goldberg to claim the $10,000 bounty that was placed on Goldberg by the Evolution stable. If you remember back then, Batista, Triple H, so on and so forth. Evolution. That's October 20th, 2003 for Goldberg's Heavyweight Championship. I don't know, did he take it from WCW? Again, don't let me continue on this. Somebody just stop me, man. October 20th, 2007, UFC 77 pay-per-view, where Brock, the Beast Incarnate Lesnar, is announced as the latest signee for the UFC's heavyweight division. What a career by Brock Lesnar. Whether it be attempted at pro football, UFC, collegiate grappling, Greco-Roman, pro wrestling, is there anybody more of a badass than Brock Lesnar? I think not. We already went through birth dates and passings. Rest in peace. We already talked about 1990 Mean Mark Callis debuts in WCW. We talked about certain dates from 1972. I just want to go through my notes here. We talked about All Japan. We talked about the ratings. Let's hop back into the time machine. Again, I can't stress enough the ratings back in the day. Just let that sink in. Go and do your research. October 20th, 2006, aka 2006, Heartland Wrestling Association. Dave and Jake Christ defeat the Mavericks for the Heartland Wrestling Association Tag Team titles. October 20th, 2007, Chaotic Wrestling right here in the greater New England tri-state northeast area. The Golden Greek Alex Arion defeats Straight Edge Brian Fury to win the Chaotic Wrestling New England Heavyweight Championship. Two men I've had the pleasure and honor of calling their matches and working the same events and being in the locker room. Two truly professional, unbelievable pro wrestling technicians. October 20th, 2012. Casey Carlisle defeats Tasha Simone for the NWA World Women's Championship. October 20th, 2012. Stand by, fans. Don't go anywhere. We're coming up on almost 30 minutes on this date in pro wrestling history. And I'll be back, so don't go anywhere. October 20th, 2006, as we jump back into the time machine. The WWE celebrates their 700th episode of Monday Night Raw. Let that sink in. Think about it. Do the numbers. October 20th, 2006. The 700th episode of Monday Night Raw, considering we are here in 2023. Any mathematicians out there? Anybody into analytics? And stay tuned for that. I will be coming back with the analytics show. Keeping progress here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Coming up on 1,000 subscribers to go live. Almost 500,000 views. And coming right up on the precipice of the 4,000 watch hours. I'm earning it the hard way. Not everyone else who hops on StreamYard and does it the easy way on their laptops, everything else, just to get on. I get it. Asking people for Venmo and PayPal and Cash App. I don't do that here. It's free because it's me. And once I get to where I'm supposed to be, by the rules, earning it the hard way, over these last 3 or 4 years, especially these last 3 years, grinding it out, almost 2,500 videos, that's how you earn things. Like I did with my 25 years behind the walls. And all the other professions I've been involved with. From bouncing in every nightclub and pub and tavern and dive, from coast to coast, border to border, and pillar to post. Bounty hunting for Dr. D. David Schultz and the High Court here in the Constitution State, aka the Nutmeg State, and the shadows of Titan Towers. The private security, private bodyguard work, private investigator, repo man, security for the Board of Education. There isn't anything I haven't done. In my over 30 plus years as a pro wrestling manager, taking the fucking bumps as well. Who else can say that? Color commentary, the whole 9 yards. You want it, you got it. Stand by. And we talked about this just a couple of days ago, so refer back to the last couple of shows on this day in pro wrestling history. October 20th, 2010. The Democrats in Connecticut, in the shadows of Titan Towers, the good old Dems, I don't want to get into all that. I don't give a shit about either party. I really don't. It's going to be a cluster. Who knows what's going to happen? We know what's going on in the current world affairs. I don't have to tell you about that. They request an investigation into whether the WWE and Linda McMahon, who was trying to run for senator in the state of Connecticut, and the campaign launched Stand Up for the WWE in that campaign. They investigate on whether the WWE and Linda McMahon conspired together to promote through the business Stand Up for the WWE in order to try to get her elected as the senator for Connecticut. Let that sink in. The McMahons are being investigated from Vince to even Linda here on October 20th, 2010, all the way back to the steroid trials, the ring boy trials, all the sexual allegations and lawsuits that followed. That's what happens when you're greedy. I'm not passing judgment here. I'd have to look in the mirror first, but let that sink in and think about it. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Whatever I say, let that marinate of all the stuff that happened here not that long ago, 13, 14 years ago. We know what happened with Triple H and Endeavor and the UFC and all the stuff with Stephanie and Shane O'Mac, and I even talked about the I Quit match they had years ago on yesterday's show. And we wrap things up here, and I'll double check. On October 20th, 2013, TNA Bound for Glory, current WWE star, Ring of Honor, and WCW, and every company in between, a first ballot Hall of Famer, that's for sure. The phenomenal one, AJ Styles, who I had the chance to work many events with and be able to talk to and pick his brain. Thank you, AJ. What a star. What a gentleman. He wins his last TNA World Championship for history. October 20th, 2013. The phenomenal one. So fans, it's been another banger of a show, as they say. Let me just double check all my notes, because you know I do my due diligence. I want to be accurate. I want to make sure that I present the facts to you guys and that I entertain you, especially on my other social media platforms. You want to look for a distraction, entertainment, reliability, relatable, one man, as I always say, you come here in my other social media platforms. So let me just make sure I have all the dates on this date in pro wrestling history. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything that I do. You know, I study and research for at least an hour or two before I do these shows, because that's what I do. And I believe that's what we have here to wrap up October 20th on this day in pro wrestling history with your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. Stay tuned. Again, we're starting off here daily on this new program, this new show. On some weeks, I'm sure I'll do the whole week in one show, which will be a lot of work. I'd like to be here every day if schedule permitting. I think I'll probably do the weekends, again, scheduling permitting, but stay tuned. There's constant content uploaded on this channel, and I don't want you guys to miss any of it. As I said, I hope I'm bringing you some relief and distraction, some entertainment, because I know I'm having one heck of a time. Come on back to Chaos Corner, Guardian of Chaos on YouTube. Don't you dare miss it. Go to my community page on YouTube. Check out all the photographs of all the legends that I've been involved with. Leave a comment. Stay tuned and stay updated. I love all you guys, whether I know you or don't know you. And I mean that.